Well, business travel really is that damaging. And companies have a huge opportunity by reducing their business travel to reduce their corporate carbon footprint. Typically, business travel is the second largest source of carbon for many organizations. And if you're not a manufacturing company, business travel can typically represent more than 50% of your company's carbon footprint. And carbon equals cost. So if you're a company trying to reduce your costs and increase your profitability, you should be interested in reducing your business travel. Also, there's a problem with personal mobility, representing 26% of global CO2. Well, the world has a choice to make, and it has to make that choice quickly. Do we continue as we have all of these decades, business as usual, not really thinking through the impact of the environment and using up the world's resources faster than the world can replace them, continuing to pump out pollution into our atmosphere and warming our climate? Or do we rethink the way we do things smarter and better, and in a way that will protect our long-term future? If we don't significantly cut our carbon emissions so that they peak by 2015, that's only 5 years away, then that is really going to reduce our chances of keeping global warming under 2 degrees centigrade, which is what scientists tell us is that danger threshold. If the world warms by more than 2 degrees, that is when we're going to see catastrophic climate change, which we all want to avoid. Well, the first thing you should be asking yourself is your journey really necessary? Interesting, YouGov recently did a survey of UK employees and found that 37% of face-to-face meetings were deemed unnecessary. That's a lot of wasted travel, and it in itself shows the potential to be doing more remote working and using virtual meetings, so using audio, web and video conferencing instead of jumping on a plane or a train to travel to a meeting. So within WWF, we use what's called a pyramid of travel priorities. We first of all think, do I need to travel at all? Could I substitute my travel to a meeting with some kind of conferencing technology? Second of all, we think, well, if I have to travel, is there a way I can reduce my distance? Third of all, I choose the lowest carbon form of transport, and only as a last resort do I even think about offsetting my emissions. So step one is really to think hard about whether you can be working remotely and improving your connectivity by using the latest suite of conferencing technologies. On the contrary, I think companies that are reducing their business travel but substituting conferencing technologies instead are making themselves fitter for the future, because the future is going to be more carbon constrained. Already we're seeing the price of oil going up, which is undoubtedly going to have an impact on the price of air tickets, for example. So if you are really investing in good conferencing technologies, that will keep you connected and competitive well into the future. In WWF, we say that there is a strong business case for using conferencing technologies to reduce your business travel, and it comes down to these things. First of all, why reduce business travel in favor of conferencing? You can reduce cost. All of those airfares, all of those hotel accommodation bills and expenses you don't have anymore. Secondly, you're reducing carbon. As I've already said, you can achieve a tremendous carbon saving by taking business travel out of the equation as much as possible. Thirdly, you're saving on people's time out of the office. You're improving their productivity because they're in the office rather than unable to work sitting in an airport lounge or having to go through security and those horrible body scanners. That is not a disruption, and they're able to hold an international meeting in a matter of hours rather than in a matter of days. And finally, and it's a really important part of the equation, is employee well-being. With travel representing huge disruption in family life and maximum time away from home, it's of huge benefit to people to be able to claw back that time for themselves and for their families and not be out of the office and not be away from home as much as they've had to in the past. That keeps people working harder, better, and happier. WWF is really happy to see Arkadin running Climate Care Days. We think it's a really great opportunity for companies to stop and think, rethink about the need to meet and travel and think through the best options available to them in a way that will reduce their overall business travel. Because that is the best way, the easiest way that a lot of companies can really have a win-win situation of helping both their business profitability but also helping the planet. Well, many people probably don't associate pandas with planes, and WWF is most widely known for its work in conservation, but that's not all we do. We also work hard at tackling climate change and also in promoting sustainable ways of living and working, which is where business travel comes in, because it both tackles one of the fastest growing sources of CO2 emissions contributing to climate change, aviation, flying, which is in turn the single biggest part of emissions from business travel. So by WWF seeking to reduce business travel, we are attacking a significant source of climate change.